This young man, bruh, he said it first, and I thought he was joking, and you're going to find out his best friend is a little different. Unique best friend, a different best friend. You're going to find out about it. I'm not going to spoil it for him. All right? So I'm going to hang on to that one. But he is writing a fiction book, which is sci-fi mystery in space. Right? That's
yes.
why I got it right?
Yes.
There you go. If you add aliens, Chris going to be on this, bruh. You got some aliens in it?
Well, I am the only alien in this room, I think.
You gonna put some aliens in your book?
No, not in my book.
Man, put the aliens in the book, bruh. It's from the planet Zeldar, and Chris gonna buy it. But once again, are you ready for this? Once again, we're another first timer. Y'all ready to make a whole lot of noise? Woo! I practiced this. Abhisek, Chatterjee.
Chatterjee, yes.
I did it right. Give it up for that young man.
All right. So, my friend, yeah, I just wanted to start off, so that you think
He knows I have
cool,
one more piece. दादा ओके खेते दियो.
His name is King Louis. No, he's not my pet. Somebody asked me, is it legal to own a monkey in Mississippi? And I'm hoping it is not, because if his owner goes to jail, maybe he will live in with me. But, I'm not here to talk about Louis, actually. Let me. Good. All right, I'm here to talk about stress and anxiety. So let me start off by saying that I come from a culture where it is not okay to be weak. When you are a billion people, when you're having to fight and compete with a billion people, if you show weakness, you will be trampled upon. Somebody else will eat your cake. So I never, asked myself as to what are these things that I'm feeling. You are supposed to walk it off. You break a leg, you walk it off. You die, you walk it off. That's the culture I came from. The year was 2020, and I was in a garage, in a room above the garage. My wife was in another room, and my son was in another room. All three of us in conference calls, all three of us shouting at different people and then shouting at each other, and it did not feel right. So I started, trying to figure out what I was feeling. And then when I figured it out, I wrote it down. And that led to this presentation. The interesting thing is, last week, I went back to this presentation, and I was like, 5 years have passed. Surely I have to update this. And funnily, except for a couple of words of AI that I just sprinkled in, because what else do we talk about? I found that nothing has changed. Yes, we are not in a locked room anymore, but the feelings of that stress and the anxiety is still there, and it's as relevant as it is right now in this room as it was in that room above the garage 5 years back. So let's start off by saying that I am not a doctor. All right, I am just a nerd. And this word has been thrown around the room multiple times today. And I have a very specific definition of this term. And I'm about to go in there. And I want anyone here who also identifies yourself as a nerd, I want to see whether this definition that I have fits your definition. A nerd is someone who knows more about a topic than what other people feel a need to. A nerd knows more about a topic, any topic, than what other people feel a need to. If you're a Star Wars nerd, you know more about Star Wars than other people feel a need to. If you're a math nerd, you know more about math than other people feel a need to. If you're computer science, UX, no matter which nerd you are, you just feel a need to know that subject more than others. Agreed? Yes. So I took my nerd approach to stress and anxiety, and that's what I wrote over here. And so I have read enough to be dangerous in a good way. So maybe we can help each other. So are you stressed? Are you stressed? Maybe, no? So stress levels across the world is now at a very high level. It's almost a record level. Because isolation that has historically been used as a form of punishment is now a way of life. Yes, we are no longer locked into our rooms like we were in 2020, but isolation is real and is no longer a punishment. It's a way of life. Multitasking causes stress. And for those of you all who are old enough, and I see a few, Windows 95 was the first operating system to introduce the concept of multitasking. How did it work? Multiple applications would be running. It had one memory. It would pick an application, put it on the memory, run it, take it off, put the next application. Multitasking was done by adding and removing application into the memory. And if anyone has seen my costume, the blue screen of death, the original blue screen of death came when it reached a point when it could not execute anymore. All it was doing, you had so many windows open, and of course we are talking small memories in 95, that all it was doing was taking applications in and out. Nothing was actually running. That is often the state of our brain when we are multitasking. Multitasking does cause stress. Doom scrolling on social media, who has been doing it? It's like, you don't even realize it. And those algorithms, they feed you. You click on one thing, and I almost feel that if I hate something, they feed more of that to me. So doom scrolling is there, and it's real, and it causes stress. And then our deadlines. All of us are working on strict deadlines, right? And then we are in all-day meetings most of the time. And you go into an 8-hour meeting, but your deadline does not change, so now you're multitasking in that meeting. So all of it then starts tying up. And then our always-on collaboration tools, Teams, keeps pinging, and then you keep zooming your focus in and out. And then there is the return to office, hybrid work challenges. And finally, has AI come for your job yet? No, maybe not. So let us start with the keyword. I'm talking about stress, but what is stress? Stress is a feeling of emotional and physical tension. It's a physical thing that you feel. It can come from any event or thought that makes you feel nervous, frustrated, angry. It's a physical emotion that is caused by an external factor called a stressor. Stress happens in the presence of a stressor. All right? What is a stressor? A stressor can be anything that can cause a state of strain or tension. Maybe you have a presentation to make tomorrow, or maybe you are launching a new AI product. So that is a stressor that causes this feeling of stress. So is stress a bad thing? Let's just address that first. Not necessarily. Eustress, a feeling of moderate or normal psychological stress that is interpreted as being beneficial to the experiencer. Eustress is good. In short bursts, stress can be positive, such as when it helps you avoid a deadline or a danger. Your brain becomes attentive, engaged, interested, even fascinated. In the absence of eustress, you would fail because you will not prepare for it. Eustress can lead to success. If you don't feel eustress, you will not rise to a challenge. Most people who, you have an exam coming, and if you do not stress about it, you probably won't do good. If you have a meeting with your CEO tomorrow, and you are not worried about it and you don't prepare for it, you'll probably not do well. So eustress is pressure that mobilizes us into action. Chemically, it is triggered by the release of catecholamines. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I'm sure it doesn't matter. But it's this chemical that enters your system. So literally, it is an adrenaline rush. You see something, you have an adrenaline rush, you run faster, you win. Eustress is good. So then what is the opposite? The opposite is distress. It is when the cortisol kicks in and overwhelms the catecholamines. Bad stress can cause insomnia, headache, upset stomach, diarrhea, all these physical ailments coming from a mental state is distress. And if you have heard the word psychosomatic, the brain can control your body, the brain can make your body sick. Stress can physically make you sick. So what are the types of stress? Stress can be of two types. There is the acute stress, a short-term stress that goes away. It comes and it goes away quickly. You're driving down the road, you see a deer, you feel the pressure, you slam the brake, you hear the smoke alarm, you get up, you start leaving the room. Those are acute stress. And then there is chronic stress. It is stress that lasts for a longer period of time. Money problems, unhappy marriages, trouble at work. You get so used to the chronic stress that you don't even realize it's a problem. You're always thinking about it, and that's why you're physically sick, but you're not realizing that you're stressed about it. You just get used to it. These two words are used very commonly together, stress and anxiety. But anxiety is different from stress. Anxiety is the feeling of stress that continues after the stressor is gone. Like, you have a meeting with your CEO tomorrow, you stress about it, you worry about it, you have the meeting. But when you come home in the night and you're having dinner with your wife and you still have that blood rushing through your body and that feeling of your heartbeat racing faster, maybe your stomach is upset, that is anxiety. Anxiety is the feeling of stress that continues when the stressor is gone. So difference between stress and anxiety, if you see, the symptoms are more or less the same. It is really the cause origin that is different. Stress is short-term and in response to a recognized threat. Anxiety can linger and may not even have an identifiable trigger. So recognize what are you feeling. Eustress, good thing. Distress, chronic stress, or have you reached a level of anxiety? This particular image, so again, remember, I'm writing this is in 2020. In the summer of 2019, I was in Paris. In the summer of 2020, I was locked in a room. So I found this image and used it over here. But the key point that I'm trying to make over here. Our brain has two parts that are relevant to this discussion that we are having. The prefrontal area of the site deals with working memory. It has the capacity for rational thought, planning, decision making, etc. I will take this road to go from point A to point B. I will, it is intelligence. We are rational, smart, data-driven, logical, everything that we humans are, smarter than animals. It is because of our prefrontal cortex. So this is what makes us thinking animals. And then behind it, further towards the back of our head, is our amygdala. The amygdala is the brain's emotional data bank. It stores feelings associated with moments of failure, hope, fear, frustration, etc. It serves as a sentinel, scanning incoming information for threats and opportunities by matching what is happening now with stored templates from past experiences. This is why two different people can react to the same thing in two different ways. Two different people could be watching a movie and one could be crying and one could be laughing, because when it comes to emotions, the amygdala is scanning this new information as a template and then deciding how to react to that emotion. Make sense? Prefrontal cortex, amygdala. Now, our 6,000 years of civilization is a very small period in over 5 billion years of our evolutionary stage. Our modern civilized period, when we have humans using the front of our brain, using is very small compared to our genetic evolution. All right, let's watch this video. I hope no ad comes up, and an ad does come up. Let us skip the ad. 3, 2, 1. Skip, hopefully. Did it skip?
Bring your enemies. The Skibbity Toilet Deluxe RC. In
Skip.
stores now.
All right, there you go.
Now Materazzi did what? Is this going to give us a
The
bit
year
more
is
of a clue?
2006, France
He
versus
said
Italy
something?
semi-finals. Zinedine Zidane,
Certainly
Zizou,
said something.
the captain of France.
Now what happens?
He is supposed to
some more.
lead France to the World Championship, and he does this.
The pictures tell
Let's
the
go
story.
back and see. Let's go a little back.
He
I need you to.
leaves football in disgrace.
Okay, maybe I'll just have to play it at the beginning.
Well, you
I'm
need
not
to
able to
team
hold
in
the
big
mouse,
trouble.
but So Materazzi says something to Zizou. He must have said something bad. I'm sure that he said something that created this reaction.
Of the world game.
But what this reaction, then he gets the red card. Zizou is off the field. France loses the semi-final,
The result, I feel.
and his career is over. Let's play it one more time.
Now
Materazzi
did
holds him,
what? Gonna give us a bit more of a
walks away. Materazzi says something to Zizou, and they're still talking.
Certainly said something.
He goes forward,
Now what
turns around, and
Saying some more.
1, 2, 3. Okay,
Pictures tell the story.
let's go to one more event.
There's a reason art
Evander Holyfield versus Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson literally bites off Holyfield's ear. Again, an end of an illustrious career. What happened here in both cases? Oh, I forgot I actually got this cap to wear at this moment, but it's sitting somewhere over here. What happened over here is known as the amygdala hijack. Under perceived threat, the stress hormones like the cortisol gets released. Once released, it stays in your blood for hours. Each successive incident adds more stress hormones to the levels already present. This can put the amygdala on a hair trigger ready to hijack our brain. You know how they talk about the straw that broke the camel's back? You are not reacting to the last straw. You have built up to that point. With every incident, the cortisol has been released into your blood and is still pumping. And as more and more incidents happen, you reach a point where a single incident can cause you to go off the rails. And that, the amygdala hijack releases the caveman inside all of us. It is an immediate and overwhelming emotional response. It is out of proportion to the stimulus. And it has been triggered because it has triggered a more significant emotional threat. You might be talking to your wife and you might just suddenly be reacting. She might have said something, I don't know, dropped a plate or something, and now you're shouting. It was not the plate, it was not this one thing that caused the reaction. the amygdala hijack builds up and then happens. So back, the prefrontal lobes keeps the amygdala's urges in check. It tries to reassure us that sometimes a less desperate mode of response will do. It tells us that, this in front of you is not a saber-toothed tiger. It is just your project manager asking you for the status. So you maintaining balance, not acting improperly, not having those episodes, is really a balance between two set of neurons. The prefrontal cortex, the intelligence of your brain that deals with empathy, insight, response flexibility, emotional regulation, body regulation, morality, intuition, and the limbic brain, which deals with fight, flight, freeze, stress responses. It is thinking, am I safe? Do people want me? Your emotions live over there. Your intelligence, your brain is a fight between your intelligence and your emotions. Okay, so now that I have learned this, what can I do about it, right? Recognize what is stressing you out. That's the first thing, recognize the fact that you are stressed out, that your cortisol is building up, that you might have a moment, an amygdala hijack is on its way. Identify how you can deal with it. If your stress is workload related, feel free to discuss with your team lead or your manager. Check out your organization's employee assistance program. If you're experiencing extreme stress or anxiety, please seek help from a medical professional. Please understand that you are probably going through something that others are too, and there are people out there who can help you. Just because we don't discuss it does not mean that somebody else sitting right across from you is not feeling it. And then, this movie, the second part came out and it was even better, but I love the first part. So who is in charge of your control panel? Each individual's life experience is stored in the amygdala, and that determines their action. And the power of rational thought that can keep it in control. You as an individual are unique. Your experiences are shaping your emotions. Your intelligence has the capacity to keep it under control. And if you are not able to recognize it, and seek medical help. That's all that I have. Thank you.